Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lead Your Way. Today I'm with Sophie Allen, the founder of Trampoline. Actually, we worked together a while back when I was recruiting an SDR at my time at Pexa Park. It was a fun experience actually, and we got a top SDR, I have to say. Ivan Curtis was amazing in the team. But now you're working on Trampoline and you're doing this from Nice in France.
Mm-hmm.
You have a toddler, you're pregnant. I'm not sure how you manage all of that, how you balance all of this, but we can speak about it as well during the podcast. I'm very curious about this. And welcome, Sophie.
Thank you so much. It was great to see you in Athens last week, or not last week, the week before. It was a good coincidence.
Maybe even 3 weeks. I think it was a
The
long
time
time.
when you're pregnant, the time just goes slowly, but also really quickly. So I'm losing track of everything. But yeah, it was really great to see you in person, and thank you for inviting me on the podcast.
No, I'm so grateful that you're here. So yeah, I have a lot of questions for you. I'm very curious about how you build this business now. I think I heard you made about 800,000 pounds last year.
Yeah, in my first year, yeah.
Okay. So how is it going now?
It's going really good. Yeah, I've nearly hit 150 SDR placements, which is crazy because when I first started it, I remember 10 feeling like a huge milestone. And I did like a massive LinkedIn post about the fact that I'd placed 10, and now it's getting into like the hundreds is just crazy. And I really love what I do. And it's going very well. There's lots of demand in the market. So, contrary to what the news is saying about like it being really difficult to get jobs and employment being really low in the sales SaaS industry, it's actually feels busier than ever. Yeah, everything is aligning really well, and I feel really grateful that it's going so well and that I set up on my own.
Okay, super. I remember, at our time at Venatrix, I'm pretty sure like the way you work must be very different from your time at Venatrix. I remember this assessment. I was very surprised because, I would hire SDRs. We had our internal process. We would do individual interviews and stuff. But when we started the process with Venatrix, you put us in a room. I think there was like 12 or maybe even 16
Hmm.
candidates, and they had this assessment all together and exercises, and we will change room and see basically, trying to see who is best performing, who would be fitting culturally within the company. I was shocked, to be fair, because I've never seen something like that. So how do you feel about this and how it was going back then? And how are you doing things now?
So the assessment centres before COVID, we used to run them in person. And that was actually really fun because every week we would get like 30 candidates in a room. We'd always invite the companies to physically come and join us, and it would give the organizations the opportunity to meet the people in person. And yeah, it was really effective, and it was also really fun because we just met so many new people constantly. And there were always like funny stories from the assessment centers. Sometimes we'd go for drinks with the candidates afterwards. Sometimes companies would make job offers on the day in our office. So it was all very exciting and had a lot of momentum. Then when COVID happened, we had to change the model, obviously, to virtual. And it definitely was still effective, but it kind of lost its magic a little bit because of the awkward dynamic almost of doing an interview on Zoom. Simple things like if you're in a group, you don't really know when the next person's going to speak because you can't pick up on those like body language cues that you would in person. So I think it lost a bit of its magic and effectiveness, and it became a little bit like performative, who could speak first, who could speak the loudest. And I started to feel like maybe it wasn't the most effective way to actually find top talent for companies. Also, because of the group nature of it, it required like a volume of people to join for it to be effective. So sometimes candidates that we didn't necessarily maybe think were the perfect fit would get an invite to give them an opportunity. And then it would maybe take up time when they probably wouldn't have got the job anyway. So it started to become a bit less effective. I don't think Venatrix actually do them anymore also. And then when I started my company, I wanted like one of the value pieces that my clients could really get from me would be the speed at which they could access top talent. So I found it more efficient to screen all of the candidates myself in a really detailed interview process with me, and then just put forward the top ones that I found, which is usually 3 per placement, direct to the company for their own interview process, and just remove that whole group element aspect of it.
Okay. Yeah, I remember during the assessment, there would be some people that will just, give monologues and speak and take
Yeah,
the time for all the others. I mean, it's showing different skills, but I guess for an SDR, BDR position, it's not really maybe the skills or the soft skills you're looking at.
yeah,
You're more looking at people that will practice cold calling, resilience, articulating conversations, but like, of course, to how to work in a team, but this felt more like competition.
yeah. And I think you get more out of someone by having a conversation with them and giving them the time to really go into detail about, those things you've just mentioned, than saying you've got 30 seconds to pitch yourself in a group of 10 people. It just became a little bit like performative, awkward, false even, and I don't think we got a great sense of the candidate's real ability to be successful in a BDR role.
Okay. So how are you doing things now today with Trampoline?
So, in terms of my screening process,
Yeah, like, I mean, I remember Venatrix will work pretty well because I guess at some point you had such a big pool of candidates, sorry. So I guess you would have this big list and I guess that's the strength as well of being specifically in recruitment for SDR, BDR,
Mhm.
because at the same time,
Sorry.
of course, you need a lot of SDR, BDRs to fill a sales team, essentially. So there are a lot to recruit. There are a lot of positions to fill. It's not like you're hiring for one VP. Even if the commission is bigger, there are less opportunities, right? I
Mhm.
assume. And also because you're specialized SDR, BDR, then you must keep this pool of SDR, BDR on your side. And when the right opportunity shows up, you already have ready candidates on your side. Is that the case? Is that the way you work still?
So the way that we used to do it was we had a big team, number one. So that's helped drive the volume. And we also spent a lot of money posting on CV sites. People listening to this today probably won't have even remember these companies, but like Reed, Indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they used to generate like hundreds of applications that the team would then sift through to find the good ones. That's not really how people apply for jobs anymore because of the rise of social media and also LinkedIn. That's where people go now when they're thinking about an opportunity versus a CV site that's just got loads of job adverts on it that are all, on paper look quite similar. So the way that I generate all of my candidates and pretty much all of my leverage comes from LinkedIn. So it comes from my personal brand. So the posts that I do daily on LinkedIn, the network that I've established from being in the industry and just doing this type of recruitment for like 13 years now, and also referrals. So I offer incentives to people if they refer their friends to me and then I place them, they get a reward from my company. So LinkedIn is the main source for me. And because I'm only doing this type of recruitment, I'm well known for it now in the industry. I get loads of inbound. I don't do any inbound outbound to candidates. Every single candidate that I place comes to me directly. And I'm just constantly refreshing my candidate pool every single day. So I have a link to my WhatsApp on my LinkedIn profile, which is like a book an appointment button. And if somebody wants to refer somebody to me or apply, they click that button, they come through to my WhatsApp. I screen them on paper, so CV and LinkedIn. And then if I think they look good or not good, but suitable for the opportunities that I'm recruiting for, I will put them through my screening process. So it's like a machine that just keeps on turning every day. Every day I get messages from people looking for BDR roles every
That's
day of the
great.
week. Holidays,
Yeah.
bank holidays, doesn't matter what it is. I'm always on it, looking, speaking to candidates.
Specialize on SDR, BDR, and you have this niche, On my side, it's kind of where I struggle with my business so far that I started in September is that I don't have a niche, So I'm
Yeah.
working on that and I definitely I have to specify something. I have to get more niche on my offering, because now I coach, executive, I coach sales leaders, I coach SDRs, I coach so many different profiles. And I like it because, every day it's different.
Mm,
So I love this. But at the same time, if you want, I guess, a pipe that generates itself, you need people to understand straight away, okay, Sophie is the expert for SDRs. If I'm
yeah,
a VP sales, director of sales, I will call Sophie because I know she has been, you've been working more than 10 years in SDR recruitment.
yeah, like 13 years.
Yeah. So if I want a good SDR, BDR, I will ask Sophie, basically.
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
you're also earlier on in your journey as a like entrepreneur than I am, because you've only started in September. And at the beginning, I always knew BDRs was my like real strength, but I think when you first start your business, you do need to say yes to revenue. And if that requires you pivoting slightly outside of a specific niche, but it's something you know that you can deliver on, then it would be silly not to say yes. When I first started, I was like for ages thinking like, should I do A's as well because the fees are bigger and that gives me more reach? Should I just target the European market because I'm based in Nice and maybe that would be a niche? But then over time, where the revenue was BDRs in London, and then it evolved into the East Coast of the US as well. And because people say to me all the time, like, why don't you do A's? Do you not get bored of just, speaking to BDRs? But because I have so much demand in that specific niche and I do genuinely really enjoy it as well, it just makes sense for me to stick at it, like you say, and be the go-to, be the expert. Because it does make your life a lot easier when you don't have to do loads of outbound because you're getting clients and candidates as a recruiter coming to you.
Yeah. So now, that's another fear, I guess, when you're an entrepreneur. You build this thing, everybody knows you because you're the expert on SDR and BDR. And then you see everybody on LinkedIn, not everybody, but some specific people that says SDR role is dead, BDR role is dead. We've heard this 1,000 times. How do you feel when you see the AI picking up and people saying SDR, BDR role are dead? And then you're thinking, well, my business is all about this. What should happen to me?
Yeah, I think it's just one of the. I think I've been in the industry such a long time. I've seen so many different trends come and go. I'm not saying AI is a trend that's going to go because it's definitely not. But I think that a couple of years ago it was that cold calling was dead and that was like the cool thing to talk about on LinkedIn, and now every single business that I speak to is like, what dialer should we buy, what data enrichment tools should we buy, what phone system should we buy, because cold calling is like the way that all of our investors are telling us we can reach our clients the quickest. So I just think it's one of those things that is kind of on trend to talk about. It's controversial. People like posting about it because those posts tend to do very well on LinkedIn as well. I'm very like, which I don't actually know is a good thing when you're running a business, but I very much live in the moment. I'm not really thinking about the long term too much. So all I'm looking at is the demand that I'm getting from companies that want to pay me money to find the very best SDRs. And that for me is enough to not make me worry about the fact that AI might replace everybody. But I do think I don't know if you feel like this too. I do think it's doing a bit of a 360 where it's a bit like when we all went and worked from home after COVID. I know I still do, but then very slowly the office crept back in. And now most companies are 5 days a week in the office. I think that's also happening with this whole like AI is going to replace SDRs. It was like very cool. We saw all of those like huge marketing campaigns from these AI SDR companies. And now the conversation that I'm hearing more is actually we still need the human touch. We need like the AI to take care of a lot of the top of funnel, which is the kind of like admin, the prospecting, the stuff that does take a lot of time that AI can automate. But when it comes to actually how do we engage our prospects in competitive situations, it's those like brilliant conversations with BDRs, the BDR that really, really cares about winning that customer and is sending them like memes on LinkedIn at the weekend because they really want to book that meeting. It's the BDRs that are going to the events, meeting people face to face that are actually moving the needle for these organizations. So yeah, I still don't think AI is going to kill the SDR yet.
Yeah. No, I get it. And while you were saying this, I was thinking that now AI as well, as you said, it's helping preparing maybe an email to send. It's preparing you before a call that you'll have. And also it's helping when you're building lists and everything. And essentially, sometimes I feel AI is helping me to do a lot more, but now expectations are higher as well from the employer, I guess. So as you're on the other side and you're recruiting for these companies, do you see a shift in what they are looking in terms of skills, hard skill and soft skills for a BDR and SDR to join their team? Because I guess they need to be, they will say, I don't know, AI fluent or good
Yeah.
on, what are they looking for?
So I think it does depend a bit on the stage that the company is at and also how AI native that specific company is. Because some of the companies that I recruit for will call themselves like huge AI geeks and be like, we just need people that are completely crazy about AI because we're building tools in-house to help the BDRs do their job. We're constantly reviewing our tech stack. We're selling AI technology. We're hiring AEs from some of the best AI companies in the world. So naturally, a BDR that's going to do well in that kind of environment needs to like really care about AI. Whereas other companies where maybe they're a bit bigger, they're a bit more established, they've been around for a bit longer. Yes, they're using the tools, but they don't see that as like the main skill that the BDR needs to have. They would rather still hire somebody that's got like the right attitude, the right drive, that's going to actually come in and hit the KPIs rather than somebody that's like completely crazy about AI. But also a lot of the demographic that applies for this type of job typically is graduates or people that have been working for like 1 to 2 years. So they're very early on in their career. And most of them are using AI at university anyway. So it's not like a big shock. Like when we were at uni, probably it was, well, definitely for me, the tech that I think I just use Word
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn wasn't even really a
Wikipedia,
thing.
maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I think that if you were bringing somebody like that into this environment, that would be like a huge shock. But for the people that I speak to now anyway, they're all using Claude like in their personal lives and building apps on Lovable. And, it's just kind of the way that the world is now.
And to go back to your business and how you founded the business while raising your toddler as well, I was thinking you're still on your own on Trampoline, right? And you're hiring people to join teams. So you speak about teams all the time, and you're not thinking of scaling your business.
Not right now, because I think one of the reasons that it is going so well is because it is just me doing everything. That's not scalable, but it's effective. And right now, I don't need the business to be scalable to do what I need it to do for me. And I think the toddler actually really does come into that because as well, because you've got young kids, it's
Yes.
so like demanding on your personal time and also sometimes on your work time. Like you never know if you're going to get a phone call from the nursery and you've got to go and pick them up. Or in France, you will actually know this very well. We have so many like bank holidays and days where the schools and nurseries just close.
Especially now, like the month of May just
Oh
finished,
my
and May
God.
is like,
I was
yeah,
literally nearly having a breakdown by the end. I needed that trip to Athens to get away from the toddler because my partner's a musician and he travels a lot with his job. And May is like the beginning of the season where like everything starts picking up.
festivals and yeah,
So the main 2 weeks where we had the most amount of bank holidays, I think it was 4 in a 2 week period because of the Pont as well, where they close. If it's a bank holiday on the Thursday, they close on the Friday as well. He was in Marbella doing a opening of a restaurant there for 2 weeks with his band.
uh-huh.
So I was like solo. I was in the thick of it, and I was also really busy. And by the time I went to Athens, I was like, I don't even feel guilty, and I booked for 4 nights because I was like, I need to do this event, and then I need 2 nights of rooftop pool, hotel room, good sleep on
Yeah,
my own, not being the mum. But
a bit of me time.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, for now, it's going really well with me doing everything. I think a huge thing in recruitment is that all companies want the best candidates, and when you work with a recruiter, the recruiter needs to be able to get those best candidates in the top of their funnel in the first place. But then the key to actually my clients hiring those candidates is me being able to like have really good conversations with the candidates, sell the opportunity in an authentic way, hit all the points that the candidates are going to be interested in. And I just think when I used to work at Venatrix, for example, sometimes that was quite like dissipated because one person would get the job spec from the client, then it would go to a team of 6 junior people that didn't really know what they were looking for, passing on the message. It's a bit like Chinese whispers, whereas the way that I'm doing it, it's all like the client, me, and the candidate. So for now, just from a how well it's working and also my lifestyle perspective, I want to keep it just me so that no one's accountable to me and I'm not accountable to anyone. But once the second baby is nursery and we've got the first baby in school, maybe I'll think about it then. But it just depends. I don't have a plan. I'm just kind of going with it month by month.
As you said before, stay in the moment, right? I love that actually. That's
Do you want
something I
to,
really,
sorry, I was
yeah.
just going to say, do you want to scale yours?
Oh no, it's way too early.
Yeah.
First, the business has to be sustaining me. Right now, it's going well, but could be better. So now I'm not thinking of scaling yet. So I will not recruit an SDR from you, Sophie.
But
Just that's
one day, would you like, is one of your, because I know for a lot of people when they start their business, their dream is to like have an office, have employees, be the boss. Is that
Oh no.
anything for you?
Oh
No.
no, not at all. You know, I went into coaching because I discovered coaching getting coached. So I had a coach myself and wow, I had so many realization during the coaching journey and I progressed so much as well. I saw the benefits. So, and also it's helping someone, you're getting closer. There was a lot of aspect that I really enjoyed. And the fact that you're not telling to the person, do this, do that. It's not mentoring. It's really like questioning. And
Mm,
so when I started then studying coaching and actually practicing, I fell in love with it. And I'm not at all thinking of scaling something. And for me, I just want to spend time. As I said to you, I'm coaching executives, sometimes sales leaders, sometimes SDRs, sometimes AEs, and they are all different. And so every conversation is different. And as much as I am helping them, they are helping me grow during the conversation. So yeah, I love that. And you know, sometimes being on your own is kind of nice.
yeah.
Your own agenda, you can, yeah. But I guess at some point, if things are flourishing, I would love to have someone, for example, to take care of my marketing, to take care of my designs, to take care of, you know, all these things that is not coaching. I would love
Yeah.
to just focus on coaching and not have to do all the rest.
Yeah. I work with a few freelancers that do help me with marketing, my accounting, because that was a big problem for me at the beginning, especially in France, understanding the system. Oh my God,
Yeah.
Ursaf, yeah. So that's one thing that I would not try and do. Any advice that I'd give to anybody setting up is get a good accountant because you don't
Yeah.
want to mess that stuff up.
That's the first thing I did. And, you know, in Greece, actually, it's something very common. Everybody has their accountant, even
Mm,
a family has their accountant because I don't know, probably because, first of all, it's a lot cheaper here to have an accountant.
yeah,
But yeah, it makes your life so much easier. My accountant is fantastic. And then, you know, right now for like my website, it's a friend of mine. For
yeah.
the marketing, my wife, she's a marketing specialist, so she can help me. I met someone at an event that was a UX, a website designer, and she did it for free in exchange of getting some exposure. So sometimes you find some ways, but at some point, yeah, it would be amazing to have someone full time doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, so you spoke about staying in the moment, and that's when I said to you, that's also the way I feel in Greece. I like to stay in the moment and kind of figure out day by day. Even though there is a bit of planning, okay, it's not a mess, but I like this stay in moment mentality. Is it what made you go live in Nice, south of France? Because this is not the place to go if you want to recruit SDRs in B2B SaaS, I think.
Yeah, there's definitely not a lot of SaaS happening in Nice. So the south of France happened because when I was younger, my mum and dad bought an apartment in the old town of Nice, and me and all my friends used to come every summer and work in the tourist spas. And Nice is the kind of place that I'm biased because I love it, but everybody falls in love with Nice when they come. Like so many people, especially British people, will come and then they'll find a way to move back here. It's got like a real pull that you just like, I can't explain what it is, but it's just like there's something about it that people really do fall in love with. And I always felt like that about Nice. And I also had like an established network of friends here because I'd been visiting throughout my university summers, all through my 20s. I used to come every single summer. And my family actually moved around a lot when I was younger. So we grew up in Papua New Guinea, the Gambia in West Africa,
Wow.
South Wales and Swansea in South Wales, London, Manchester, Liverpool. So I never had like a place in the UK where I was like, this is really home. But I always felt that pull from Nice. And then after the first COVID lockdown, when they opened up travel, I just came for a week holiday just to get out of London. I was like living in my flat on my own, and it was all quite kind of depressing because everybody at the company that I worked for was on furlough apart from me. And it was really like I don't know, every conversation, it felt like our whole lives depended on whether we were going to ever make a placement again. And it all got quite heavy. So came to Nice on holiday, and then I actually bumped into one of my friends who was like, yeah, I've just decided to move back here because I way prefer it to London. And I was kind of like, oh, that feels like that makes so much sense. Like, I want to do that too. And I just kept canceling my flight home. Then Brexit was coming, and it was kind of like, if you want to stay, you've got to like really think about this now because you need to apply for the carte de séjour, and you need to change,
Uh,
like, you can't live in a country and not pay tax in that country. So it became a bit of a like, kind of bureaucratic thing where I needed to figure out all the paperwork. And it just, as hard as all of that was, and it did feel unlikely at times because Venatrix also didn't really want me to stay, and I had to forfeit some of my like salary and commission to help cover the cost of them employing me in France
oh,
because
wow.
it's
Okay.
more expensive. So it was like a really big decision, but I just did not want to move back to London. Like, it was just a really strong gut feeling, and I was like, I have to do this for myself, even though it's hard. I just really like want to stay here because I don't know, but I think COVID, even though we've talked about face to face coming back, it did change the way that people do business. Even though companies want people in the office, companies are happy to buy and sell over Zoom. So that hasn't really, the fact that there's no SaaS companies in Nice hasn't really affected my ability to win clients or candidates. And the great thing about Nice is that a lot of the leaders of the SaaS companies and the big decision makers come here on holiday. I've actually done a lot of like lunches and things with people from the industry in Nice.
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
Actually, even in the football industry, they use a lot of English clubs would meet players in the south of France. There
yeah,
are just a lot of meetups in
yeah.
the south of France, but they are not so. Yeah, it's more like hidden meetings.
Yeah, and we do have some events here. Like, we've got the Cannes Lion coming up next week. We've got
Okay.
MIPIM, which is a big like architecture prop tech one that a lot of companies come to. Sometimes there's like Martech events in Monaco. So, and you just obviously, I have to make sure I go to all of those because there's no excuse not to. But then Nice is also, I live like 20 minutes from the airport, and it's an international airport. So it's super easy to go to New York, go to London, and, do face to face.
Yeah. No, I understand. I actually, maybe I didn't say it to you, but for half a year I was living in Antibes, which is
Yeah,
not so far,
with the super
and
yachts.
yes. And so, yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I mean, the sunsets, the sea, and also, this cyclable way. You can cycle
Yeah,
from
yeah. It's
Antibes
amazing.
to Nice, and it's great. So, yeah, it's a great place to live.
And I don't know if it's the same for you, but since I started my own company, I've met a lot of other people that have also started their own companies. You must have the same in Athens. So
Yes.
you do build a bit of a network of people that are like-minded that are also running their own business, even if you're in Nice, which isn't the, business capital of the world.
Definitely. And most of the time you're very surprised. This saying of like, I don't remember, I think it's like you're three people from,
Three
I
degrees of
don't know,
separation.
yeah, shaking the hand of, I don't know, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So many times, actually now that's a tip I would give is that when you are in a conference or when you're meeting someone, sometimes the first reflex would be like, okay, could it be my customer or can we have some synergies?
Mm,
But now I tend to ask a lot more. If you happen to know someone that, might need coaching,
mm-hmm,
just, yeah, you can introduce me. It would be my pleasure and stuff like this. And there are a lot of business that came in for me that way
mm-hmm.
because someone referred someone else. Yeah. So Definitely. Doesn't matter if you're in
Yeah,
London, in Nice, or in Athens, you always find a way. And at the end of the day, it's what you're doing as well. If you're good at what you're doing, people
yeah,
will always find you.
exactly.
Okay. Thanks, Sophie. We are coming at the end of the podcast. And I just want to ask one more question. So you will soon have a second baby.
Hmm.
What are you thinking of the business moving forward, like for the next year or two? Well, if you had a magic wand, what would it be? What would it become?
Do you want the honest answer or the
The honest
politically
answer.
correct answer? If I had a
Honest.
magic wand, I would get a live-in nanny to help me so that I can carry on with my business as it is.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
But no, the realistic answer is I'm gonna obviously take a little bit of time off during the birth. Although
Hmm.
I will be taking my laptop to the hospital because in France they make you stay for a week after you've given birth.
Okay.
So and everybody says newborns are really hard. They are, but they do sleep a lot, like during the day. So I'll definitely still have
Yeah,
time
that's
to,
not true. I mean, of course, it depends on the newborn, I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say. But I mean, yeah, it depends of so many things. But yeah, I would say as well that when they're newborn and they sleep and they eat and they sleep, it's quite simple.
yeah. Whereas when they're toddler, that's when you're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the dad, because I would say that the mom, it's more trouble when it's newborn. I mean,
Yeah,
my wife, she breastfeeded for the two kids, and it's a lot, and it's very tiring.
yeah.
But yeah, afterwards they run everywhere, and there are a lot of things to do.
Yeah, and but my second one's a girl, so I'm hoping everyone
Oh,
says
wow.
girls are a bit more chilled than boys because my 2.5-year-old is like completely crazy at the moment. We're having like so much energy, troublemaking. He's constantly like jumping off things. So, but yeah, I'm gonna,
It's funny. It's the same for me. Actually, my boy is 2.5.
yeah,
But my daughter, she's 4. But my boy is the same. And my daughter is a lot more. I would say that she's not taking so much risk.
yeah.
So I
So
guess that's what you're hoping.
yeah, really hoping. And I'm really lucky that we have a lot of family around. So my boyfriend's mum helps us a lot. She's like 70, but you'd think she was like 40. She's got so much
Oh, wow.
energy and she like really helps us. So she'll help me. My parents have a place here, so they'll come and stay for a few months. And yeah, we're just going to crack on. I'm not going to, I feel like I've worked way too hard to just kind of pause it. And in the recruitment industry, as much as you have clients that like working with you, if you're not there to recruit for them, they're going to find somebody else who is. And I don't
Uh,
want to lose the relationships that I've like really worked hard to win. So I'm just going to keep going and make it work. And I'm so lucky that
okay.
I work from home as well. I think like that is makes it a million times easier than having to like commute into an office or go on like an official maternity leave. So yeah, we
Yeah,
keep going.
definitely.
But ask me in September, I might be like at breaking point and say
I need to hire someone.
I need to hire someone or I'm closing it down.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Sophie. Thanks for
Thank
your time
you.
today. And yeah, see you around and looking forward to your next LinkedIn post.
See you in the south of France.
Yeah, with pleasure. Yeah, definitely. Okay.